All right, so having these 5 CRUD operations, let's create a couple of things. Right now we just have get everything that's Batman. Excellent. Let's see if we can do it from jQuery. All right, let's go back to jQuery. Let's go back to jQuery, and here's my main, right? And we're going to do a function here that says load movies. And in load movies, the way we're going to hit the server and retrieve data is using fetch. Fetch is a function that's supported by all browsers it takes as argument the URL. It takes as argument a URL, right? And it comes back with what it's called a promise. A promise, right? It doesn't come back with data. It comes with a promise of data, right? So promise is a mechanism that allows you to synchronize processes that are running in their own domains, right? And they communicate by interruptions, right? Asynchronously by saying, I'll send the message and don't wait for it because it might take a while, right? Go do whatever else you're doing. I'll notify you when the response comes back. Yes, right? So what comes back from here is a promise. And promise has a function. Promise is an object that has a function called then, right? That's the function that's going to allow you to register for a callback. Right? It says, hey, call me back when the data actually comes back, right? I don't want to wait for it. I got to do, I got to animate a couple of cats over here. Notify me when you're done, right? So that I can come back and listen to you, right? So what comes back is a response from the server. If I could spell this, response. And we can, oh my goodness, I can do a console log response, right? So what we're going to do is we're right on our main, we're going to load the movies. So load movies here, load movies. We'll call load movies and see what's going on here. Let's see if this blows up. Let's inspect and look at the network. In the network, I can see the communication from our browser and the rest of the world. Okay, it looks like there's our query right there. See that? That's the query that went out. We can see the actual query. It is a get. The server responded with an OK. And I can see the response. This is the raw text that came back from the server. It is indeed an array, right, with Batman and the ID. It's exactly what Postman was coming back with. Yes? All right? This is very promising. This is an array, and notice that it parses it out as an actual array. So ideally, I could, presumably, I could, instead of render these movies, instead of rendering these movies, what I could do is use this response instead. See that? Right? So I could just remove this here and remove the render movies and call render movies right here. It says render movies and pass in the response. See that? Right? So if I refresh over here, I notice that it didn't work. Wait, what? The movie, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you didn't do that? Okay, right. Yes, thank you. So it fooled me because it was printing it out as an array. Yeah, so exactly. So as our colleague here points out, there's one extra step here. What you get back here is the entire body that's coming back from the server, right? It's coming back with some status information, the 200 OK, any other meta information, including the body of the response that came back from the server. So we need to parse the response and extract the JSON content. So let's do that. Before we do that, I'm going to change this to our new syntax, our new ES6 syntax. This is and so instead of function, we have a new syntax. Okay, without the function. And here we're doing a console where we're calling render movies, but really we know we can't do that just yet, right? We don't have that just yet. And we're doing the console. So this would behave identical, I hope. Yeah, there it is. So it's much more concise. The other thing we're doing is that console log is the only line of code here. It's the only line of code. If it's the only line of code, I don't really need the curly brackets. I don't really need the curly brackets, right? So if I do that again, it still works. It didn't blow up yet. So yeah, it's much more concise than JavaScript. And we know that this console is really not necessary. What we really want to do is do a .json. .json says parse the body, extract the JSON part of the body, right? Which it's that array, parse it as JSON, and then return that. Okay. So this notice that we don't have a curly bracket here, right? This response.json is an implied return. It's an implied return, meaning this reads as follows: return, and then close the curly bracket. Yes, that's an explicit return. It's an explicit return. But if I only have one line of code, right, I could use the syntax where I have an implied return. Yes. So the implied return of this is to return the actual body as another promise. So we can do another then. Right, I can string these together, then and then. Okay, and now presumably I have the movies. I can do console log the movies. The movies, there it is, right? We have the data, and hopefully I should be able to just do what? I should be able to just pass it along to who? To render movies. Send it over to render movies. That's the function I want you to call. Right? Actually, I don't even need this here. It says call the function render movies, pass the movies that came back from the server, just pass it along to render movies for rendering. All right, let's see if this blows up. There we have our Batman. Okay, there's our Batman. Everybody okay?
Hi everyone, Jose here. Please remember to subscribe and like the video. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Thank you.